The mug hit the table with a hollow thud. White plastic. Thin. Disposable. I reached for it anyway. The others held ceramic, heavy speckled matching, holiday-set pine branches and red trim. I had helped pick them out 2 years ago when Brenna said she wanted to host properly. "Oops," she said now, loud enough for everyone to hear. "That one's for well. No big deal. You're fine with that, right?" She didn't wait for my answer. I nodded. Smiled. Sat. The seat at the table's center was open. I moved toward it. Ava smiled and started to scoot her chair to make space. But Brenna's hand caught the backrest. "That one's for Mom," she said, gesturing to her own mother, who wasn't even in the room yet. "She'll be back in a sec." My hand was still on the chair. Elias cleared his throat. "There's the folding one, Ma. We set it up just in case." Laughter small and scattered. I pulled the plastic chair from the wall and sat near the hallway, out of frame from the group photo being taken. They passed dishes, bread, roast, green beans. None in my direction. I didn't ask. Across the table, Ava glanced at me. Her fingers curled around her cocoa mug, untouched. Her eyes darted between me and the others, her brow pulling slightly, like she couldn't quite follow the rules. I held the plastic cup steady in my lap. My hand ached. I adjusted my grip. "Cheers," someone called. Brenna's mother clinked her mug with Elias's. He laughed. Loud, just a little too loud. I looked at the table. My reflection bent and warped in the curve of the cup. Someone joked about holiday weight. Someone else talked about Cancun. I smiled. I breathed through my nose. And I didn't drink. I watched Ava. She didn't drink either. Her eyes stayed on me until dessert came out. I sat there still as the whipped cream slid from someone's plate onto the tablecloth. No one noticed. The mug stayed full in my lap. The chair creaked when I shifted. I didn't wipe the drop that landed on my sleeve. I just waited. I scraped bits of roast from my plate into the trash. No one noticed. Brenna raised her voice from the living room. "Thanks for coming, everyone. We loved having you." Clinks. Footsteps. Laughter fading near the front door. I wiped the counter. Still nothing. No thanks. No eye contact. I stacked the mugs. Ceramic. Not mine. Elias walked past with a tray of pie. He didn't look at me. Just said, "Careful, it's hot." I wasn't holding anything. Ava patted in, arms open. I knelt. She pressed her face into my shoulder. "You're still my favorite," she whispered. I held her tighter than I meant to. Just for a second. Then I eased off. Brenna's voice rang again, sharp and clean. "Elias, your mom's staying until tomorrow or longer." She said it in the middle of the room in front of guests still gathering coats. My son froze. Smiled weakly. Probably just tonight, I think." My name never said. My presence half recognized. "I'll let you two talk," Brenna added, already turning. I walked into the kitchen slow, reached for my coat, took a breath. The fridge door was ajar. I nudged it closed, but not before I saw it. Their family calendar. December 24th, 28. Beach house trip circled in green marker. Below it, written in blue, pick up Ava, 12:23, 4 p.m. Crossed out in red. I ran my finger along the edge of the fridge. Pulled my hand back when I realized it had started to shake. I folded Ava's drawing from the table, slipped it into my purse. It was of a house. 4 windows. One figure standing outside. That night in the guest room, I folded my sweater. The one with the torn cuff I always mended, but never replaced. I placed it on the edge of the chair. Aligned the sleeves. Zipped my overnight bag. Nothing scattered. Nothing forgotten. I heard the family laughing in the hallway, Brenna's voice rising above the rest. I reached into the side pocket. Took out the receipt from the wine I'd brought. Crumpled it. Dropped it in the wastebasket. And sat down. The phone buzzed hard against the nightstand. I reached fast. Ava. Her voice was small. Grandma. I sat up. Where are you, I think? I think something's wrong. I stood. No shoes. Just carpet and cold. Tell me. I woke up. Nobody's here. Not Mom, not Dad. Just me. And there's a note. I didn't speak. I grabbed my glasses. Pulled on yesterday's sweater. Ava whispered. It says they needed a break from me. I stopped moving. My hand landed on the kitchen counter. My coffee was cold. I didn't drink it. Ava, I said quiet. Is the door locked? Yes. Okay. Good girl. You're not in trouble, she sniffled. Did I make them mad? I closed my eyes. Kept my voice even. Sweetheart, I need you to take a picture of that note, just in case. Can you do that for me? I heard the shuffle of feet. A phone click. Got it. Now go sit by the front window. Don't open the door for anyone. I'll call you right back. She didn't answer. I heard her breathing. Then, okay. I hung up and dialed the only number I trusted within driving distance. Mrs. Wren's, I said when she picked up. Ava's alone. I need you at the house. Now. Don't ask, just go. Her breath caught. I'm leaving in 1 minute. I grabbed my bag. Shoes, wallet, phone. My hands moved fast. My chest stayed still. In the mirror, my hair was crooked. I didn't fix it. I pulled open the drawer where I'd hidden Ava's Valentine card from last year, folded it once, put it in my coat pocket. I reached for my coffee. My fingers wrapped around the cup, but I didn't lift. I just stood there, hand on ceramic, listening to the sound of silence in a house that wasn't mine. And I began booking a flight. I slammed the car door and drove. No radio. No thinking. Just road and breath. The sun hadn't risen yet. The sky was a flat, bruised gray. I hit every light green. Parked crooked. Ran. Inside the terminal, heat slapped my face. Lines snaked everywhere. Families with luggage couples with matching sweaters. Kids dragging plush animals. I moved through them like I was wading upstream. At the counter, I pushed my ID forward. Earliest flight to Raleigh, I said. 1 seat. The agent blinked. Ma'am, Christmas Eve flights are I'll take whatever's open. Middle seat, back row, cargo hold. My voice didn't rise, but something in it made her stop talking. Her fingers flew. There's one. Price is yes. I didn't need to hear it. While she printed the boarding pass, my phone buzzed. A photo from Ava. The note. Crooked, ripped, in her small hands. I swallowed hard. Gate security checked my ID twice. The second guard frowned. You seem in a hurry. I leaned in, steadying myself on the counter. My granddaughter is alone because my family decided she wasn't worth waking. Something shifted in his face. Recognition, maybe shame. And he waved me forward without another word. In the waiting area, I sat on the edge of a plastic chair. Pressed my thumb into my palm until the shaking eased. People around me laughed, argued about carry-ons. FaceTimed relatives. None of it landed. They called boarding. I stood too fast, steadied myself, moved into line. Before stepping onto the jet bridge, I opened my contacts and tapped the number saved as MR Lawyer Quiet. No greeting, no explanation, just the photo of the note. Send. The phone vibrated once in response. Nothing written, but enough. Flight attendants wished me a Merry Christmas. I didn't answer. When the plane touched down, I unbuckled before the chime. Took my bag. Moved fast through the walkway down the escalator across the terminal. Ava spotted me first. She ran, full speed, arms open, hair flying, breath sharp from crying and waiting. I caught her and lifted her clean off the floor, her face pressed into my coat. Let's get warm, I said. I tightened my arms and walked us toward the exit. I sliced the bread, buttered the pan, dropped the sandwich. Heat hissed. Ava sat curled in the corner of the couch, wrapped in a blanket I'd kept from when she was 4. Her eyes were red, but she didn't speak. I didn't ask. The soup simmered. I stirred, poured, placed everything on the table without saying, "Here you go," or "Eat up." She ate anyway. She finished, wiped her mouth with her sleeve. "Can I nap on the bed?" I nodded. Shoes off. She disappeared into the small back room. Door closed. Silence. I sat at the table, opened my laptop. Fingers hovered, then moved. Revocation of residential permission. I kept the words dry, precise. No emotion in the formatting. No apology in the margins. Elias Lewin and Brenna Lewin are no longer authorized to reside at or access the property located at. I checked the address 3 times, spelled out the zip code, dated it, signed it, initialed each page, saved a copy to my desktop, printed 3. One I placed flat in a plain white envelope. The second went into a red folder marked Residential Authority, hard copy. The third stayed open in front of me. I read it again, then once more. Each time my spine lifted. Each time I sat taller. I reached into my travel bag and pulled out the locked file folder. The zipper stuck. I forced it open. Inside, the original deed. My name, no joint owners. A revised will signed 2 months ago. Ava's school video release forms. Legal guardianship checkboxes, emergency pickup codes, all signed, all valid. I laid them side by side, let them breathe in the room. Then I stood, walked to the dresser, pulled out the drawer where I kept odds and ends. 1 sock, a drawing of a fox, 3 mismatched crayons, a swim ribbon. I folded each piece, placed them in the drawer by category. Not trash, not forgotten, just organized. I looked around the room. Small, quiet, mine. The sun had shifted across the floor, landing on the red folder. I closed it, placed it in the bag, zipped it once. Then I reached for Ava's coat and shook off the dust. I unlocked the door. It opened with a soft click. No alarm, no gate code, no silence waiting to shame us. Ava stood beside me, both arms gripping a cardboard box. Her feet shuffled against the wood floor. "Is this just for now?" "We'll see," I said. We set the boxes down. Not many. Some clothes, her drawings, 2 books, my laptop. The couch had a blanket folded neatly across it. The fridge hummed low. The windows faced east. I liked that. Ava walked through each room like she was learning a new language. No questions, just small nods. I opened the bag, pulled out a frame. Simple, black. I hung it above the kitchen table. Ava's Halloween photo, the one with the fox ears and 2 big tail. Her face smeared with orange paint, her smile uneven but full. "Mom said I was too old for costumes," Ava said softly behind me. I adjusted the frame. "You weren't." She leaned on the counter, reached for the mug I'd placed beside the sink. The one from my cabinet. The one no one else touched. "This one's heavy," she said, trying to lift it with one hand. I didn't correct her. We unpacked the last box. I gave her the drawer next to mine. She placed her socks like folded secrets, lined her pencils by length. Dinner was grilled cheese again. I didn't apologize. She ate it all. That night, after she fell asleep on the couch, I made coffee. Ceramic mug. No plastic. No guests. No hostess. I stood at the window, hands wrapped around the heat. Streetlights buzzed. A single car passed. The walls didn't echo. They held our breath instead. I drank slow. No rush. No one waiting for me to clear a plate. The picture on the wall caught a little of the light. The foxtail crooked the paint uneven, but the grin still there. I washed the mug, dried it with the back of my sleeve, set it back on the counter. Morning came early. I opened the laptop, attached the letter, pressed print. 3 copies. Same weight, same words, and I picked up my bag again. I turned the key. The lock clicked clean. No resistance. We stepped inside. The house was quiet, no voices, no perfume in the hallway, no forced cheer in the air. I held the folder in one hand. Ava followed close, her fingers hooked in my sleeve. I peeled the first paper from the stack, walked to the front door, taped it at eye level, revocation of residential permission. Clear, legal, signed. Next, we walked down the hall, past the family photos they'd never updated, past the framed diploma with Elias's name. Their bedroom was spotless. Clothes gone, suitcases missing. I placed the second notice right on the wall above the empty headboard. Let it sit there like a painting. The third paper I held longer. The edges curled slightly from the heat of my hands. I walked to the kitchen. Ava stayed by the doorway. I placed the last notice in the exact spot where they'd left the note for her. I didn't smooth it. I didn't center it. I let it land. My fingers brushed the wood of the table. Slow. Steady. I remembered how it once held birthday cakes, school projects, pie crust crumbs. Now it held this. Behind me, I heard the soft shuffle of Ava's shoes. She stepped toward the fridge, pulled a folded sheet from her pocket. She smoothed the corners, tacked it to the metal with a single magnet. A drawing. 2 foxes. Under a full moon. No other figures. She didn't say anything. Neither did I. I took one last look around. Nothing I needed. Nothing left to claim. We walked to the door. I locked it myself. My keys didn't shake. We stood outside for a moment, just long enough to feel the air shift. Then I took her hand. We started back toward the car. The first call came on a Tuesday. I didn't answer. The second, Wednesday night. Same number. Same silence when I let it ring. By Friday, my voicemail was full. That morning, while shelving new returns at the library, I heard the front doors slam open. I didn't turn. I kept stacking. The phone at the desk rang. I placed the last book, The Fox and the Firelight, onto the shelf. Walked back. Sat. The screen flashed E. Lewin. I pressed answer. This is Mara. His voice hit fast. Loud. What the hell did you do? I didn't flinch. I slid a bookmark into the open novel on my desk. Set it aside. You left something on that table, I said, calm. So did I. Silence. One of them holds weight. You can't just... This is illegal, Mom. This is cruel. You changed the locks. You moved Ava? I didn't respond. In the background, Brenna was yelling. Something about her parents flying in for New Year's. About embarrassment. I looked out the window. A little boy was reading to himself near the children's section. Lips moving, fingers trailing under the lines. Elias's voice cracked. You didn't even tell me. I kept my tone level. I gave notice. It's in writing. You'll find your copy. I'm your son. I glanced at the book I'd set aside. And I was your mother when you left my granddaughter alone on Christmas Eve. More shouting. Then nothing. I hung up. A woman returned a stack of books to the counter. That one you recommended, Winter's Quiet. I finished it in one night. Thank you. I nodded once. Glad it found you. I filed the return slip, marked the title, and checked the clock. It was almost time to pick Ava up from the reading group. I saw him before he spoke. At the edge of the shelves, hands in pockets, shoulders hunched, like a boy, not a man. He waited until I looked up. His voice caught. We didn't think I stood. Walked around the desk, closed the space between us like a file drawer. You didn't protect her. He froze. That's all I need to remember. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. I reached into the tote beside my chair, pulled the folder I'd prepared 3 days ago. Inside, Ava's updated pediatric forms, counseling appointments, medication record, and a typed instruction sheet. I placed it in his hand. "She's stable," I said. "Don't contact her. Everything she needs is handled." He flipped through the papers. His fingers slowed on the schedule. "She asked if you were okay," I added. "I told her you're working on it." He looked at me then. Really looked, like he finally saw the woman who raised him. Or maybe just the woman who no longer had to. "I miss her," he said. I didn't reply. I didn't owe him comfort. I turned back toward the desk. He stayed standing, waiting for something I wouldn't give. When the door closed behind him, I exhaled. Just once. No tremble, no sag. Just breath. I walked to the staff room. Clocked out early. At the apartment, the light was warm, quiet. Ava sat curled on the couch, legs tucked under her, book open. Her lips moved as she read aloud, soft, steady. I hung my coat, sat beside her. She didn't ask where I'd been. I didn't offer. She turned the page. I watched the words lift off her face like smoke. I woke before the light, moved without sound, filled the kettle, flicked the switch. The apartment was still. No bags at the door, no notes left behind. Water hissed. I opened the cabinet, reached for the ceramic mug, the one with the chipped rim, the weight I knew. I placed another mug beside it. White, plain, empty, coffee grounds, filter, slow breath. The smell came first, then the warmth, then the stillness. I stepped onto the balcony, slid the glass door behind me. Cold air touched my neck. The sun hadn't cleared the buildings yet, but the sky was soft. I poured the coffee, the stream steady, the sound small. Not a drop spilled. I held the mug with both hands, felt the heat move into my fingers, then settle in my chest. No voices, no footsteps, no expectations. Just this. I took one sip, let it sit. Beside me, the second mug caught the light. I turned it gently, just enough for the sun to find its center. I didn't need to speak. I didn't need to be asked. I just was. The kettle clicked off behind the glass. The drip slowed. I sat, still holding the cup, still breathing, still here,